How's it going, guys? It's the start of winter here in Australia. Well, getting into winter anyway. And I'm just going through the firewood gear here, and I thought I'd make a couple of videos, show you guys what I use, how I use it, the reasons, all those things. And I'll probably break it up into a couple of videos just to see how, we'll see how the time goes. But, yeah, I think we'll start off with the saws here. Right, so first thing is our jerry can. We use a 2-in-1 can. Bar oil and fuel mix. Saves you carrying, so saves you dragging out 2 different cans. Comes with the spouts and the funnels and stuff to help fill up the saw. Good to have, saves you lugging a whole bunch of extra crap around. The first saw is the MS210C. It's an easy start saw with a toolless chain adjustment and all that nonsense. It's a good little saw, it's nice and light and quiet. Doesn't use a lot of fuel. It's a good all-round little saw, really. That's it, there's nothing special about it. So the next saw is the Stihl 029 Super, a little bit bigger, a bit more power, a lot heavier. Just a standard saw, again, nothing special, no extra bars. It's got the 18-inch bar, the little 210 has a 16-inch bar, so we're not cutting down 400-year-old redwoods or anything like that. We don't need anything huge. Again, nothing special about it, just a standard saw. Alright, so the next part is probably the most boring. I'm just going to go through the safety gear here quickly. Standard Stihl professional helmet system. The only difference I believe between the professional and the homeowner is the rating of the earmuffs, and it doesn't have the lambswool sweatband. It has a microfiber sweatband or something along those lines. It's good, it's nice and comfortable, and it's, you can have it on all day. It's nice and light, it doesn't strain your neck or anything like that. And the face shield's nice and clear to see through as well. It's a good all-round system. Next is the chaps. Never go anywhere without them. Professional chaps as well. They've got a wedge pouch and a strange little tool keeper on the belt here. I'm not sure what that's for, but doesn't really matter. Buckles and Velcro as opposed to zippers. I've seen on some of the others. Nice and quick to get on, quick to get off. They're nice and thick, but they're also nice and light, which makes them a lot better to use, a lot more comfortable to use. Gloves. These are an old pair, they need to be replaced. Just some Wells and Lamont work gloves. Just some nice standard gloves, even for splinters, or if the chain's going to hit your hand, or if it comes off and doesn't have a chain catcher, whatever. It's going to grab you, it's going to save your fingers. Boots, some steel-toed lace-up boots that are nice and high. They've got some ankle support, you can get them in nice and tight. Again, nothing special, these aren't very expensive boots. Blacksmith brand, about $100 for these boots. They've saved my toes a few times. They've got some nicks in them from the saw, just from bracing the wood with the foot. Slip off, kick back, whatever. Nice heavy boots and the ankle support, so if you're walking along a log, whatever, there's less chance of you rolling your ankle and ending your work day. That's it. Alright, so onto the toolbox now. The toolbox itself is cheap, cheerful, all those things. It's a cheap, really cheap plastic toolbox, but it does the job. It does what we need it to do. Anyway, first out of the box is a couple of lengths of rope. Tying a limb up, or tying it out of the way, or stopping it from coming down on a fence or a house, or tying it, all those sorts of things. If the limb then does come down in a way that we can't deal with it ourselves, because we're definitely not professionals, I usually throw in some caution tape. That way we can sort of rope off an area, call in the professionals, let them sort it out. If you're partial to hay fever, which I definitely am, unfortunately, I've been throwing in these dust masks lately. Helps with the wood dust, the dust from we usually park alongside a dirt road to get our firewood. It's normally where we find it. And the people driving past, they drive like maniacs and don't slow down, so having the dust mask is definitely a help. A couple of rags for cleaning the saws, wiping your hands, all those sorts of things. Some spare chains. And only keep 2 spare chains because I'm not a pro saw sharpener, but I'm definitely proficient. I can sharpen my own chainsaw chains. So they stay in there. An extra 100 mils of 2-stroke oil. It's enough to make about 5 litres, I believe. Yeah, 5 litres of fuel. So just in case, there's a fuel station closer to us than where all our stuff is, then we can jump in and get some more fuel if we need it. Can of liquid gold. Use it for everything, cleaning, lubricating, all those sorts of things. I've been throwing in some mechanics gloves lately, just for servicing the saw. You can take the big heavy gloves off. They still give you a bit of protection from the heat as well as from the oil and all that kind of stuff. And they give you a bit more feel than the big heavy work gloves do. An air filter for the O29, which needs to be cleaned and that kind of stuff. Cleaned out, reinstalled. Carry a hammer loop and a cheap hatchet, just for knocking off the small limbs. So if you don't want to get your saw out for or anything that's close to the ground, roots and that sort of thing. On a rag. Now keep the saw sharpener. This is a file guide or a file brace or something like that. There's actually no name of the product on it anywhere. 2-in-1 file holder. There you go. It files the rakers as well as the cutting teeth. So just in one stroke it gives you everything, so you don't have to worry about measuring the drags, the rakers, whatever you want to call them, and then knocking them down with a separate file. It's all in one unit. Fantastic. And then in the bottom we have a small tray which we keep the hand tools in. First thing is a pad and pencil, whatever you need to write down, part numbers, all that kind of stuff. If you've got a location, you mark it on the GPS, you put the coordinates in here, whatever. If some decent amount of firewood, it's good to have a pad and pen to write stuff down. Keep a knife blade for anything you really need a knife blade for, whether it's cutting the tape or cutting the rope or cutting a rag to get a small bit of rag, anything. We keep a few different chainsaw tools in here, or scrunches as people like to call them. We have one standard one with the standard Phillips head on it. Don't really need to know what it's for, everybody knows. We have one with a Torx bit on the end. I think it's a T27. It fits all the body screws on all the saws, so we hang on to that. And this one I'm not exactly sure where it turned up. It's got a few smaller sizes of hex nut on there. So there's a Phillips head screwdriver. So it ended up in here. We have a file handle and a flat file, just for if you need to dress the bar to get rid of the burr or anything like that. It's good to have a file for that. We have a few shackles to put on the end of the ropes. Saves you tying knots. I'm not very proficient in knot tying, and these just save all the time. We have a couple of spare sets of earplugs for whatever reason. If you're just gathering up firewood and your partner's still using the saw, pick that up later. You can toss these in, just have your cap and sunnies on, and saves you lugging around the helmet as well. A couple of spark plugs with both the saws. Carry your toothbrush, cleaning out the saw, cleaning out the clutch cover, all that kind of stuff. Some basic hand tools, Phillips head and a flathead screwdriver, a shifter, and a carburetor adjusting screwdriver, as well as a few permanent markers usually for marking the bar when we're sharpening. And that's it. That's all of it. Alright, so just the last little bit here. This is the bar oil we use. It's a Steel Synthetic Plus 5 litre jug, so we can fill up the combi can twice with this. Just a standard synthetic bar oil. 2-stroke oil we use is a Steel HP. This is their basic 2-stroke oil. It's got the incremented measurements on it and everything like that. In closing, I just want to say that I'm definitely not a professional. I don't do this for a living. I'm starting to do these videos to learn and to teach if I can. So if there's anything that you think I've missed, that you think I should add, that you think I should take out, that you think is useless there, put a comment down. Always love reading the comments. I love learning from you guys, and I love that you guys could possibly learn something from me. I'm also considering purchasing a very small light saw, with a cheap one to begin with. I think just a little Oregon unit. We'll see how we go, see if we have a use for it, and if I do have a use for it, I'll upgrade it to something bigger. Well, not bigger, but a steel branded saw. I don't want to go and spend $400 if it's not going to get used. I'd rather spend $100 and then give it away to somebody. But yeah, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed the little series we've had here, and I hope you've been able to learn something. Again, drop me a comment if you think I need to know something, or if you think I need to add something. And that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day.